Let me guess. Camelot, no? Timberwall, also no? So you're not from the north? Ah, of course.
You must be from Connacht. I should have guessed right away. So, who's in charge there now? Nowhere? Never heard about it. Must be a shithole like no other. And I think I won't learn much about politics from you.
You know, people are talking about rising unrest in the north, and a secret coalition preparing a coup at the highest levels of power. And that whole plague thing is just a tool to reach their final goal. The Red Priests are also trying to get something out of it.
And to be honest, it's not gone too bad for them. The Druids are out of the picture already.
Well, sure. They want to establish a new order on our island. And it's not clear who's involved in the whole mess.
Maybe. Maybe our captain is even involved. Hell knows. They have their people everywhere. Damn it, you could be one of them too. Although when I look at you, I don't think so. You have such a stupid face. With all due respect, of course.
You see? It takes one to know one. And that means we're just pawns. Folks like us won't change anything. But we have to talk out loud. It suits them when everyone keeps their mouth shut. That's the case. Those sons of bitches are good at hiding. They kinda blend in and live among us. It's hard to tell if it's hideous magic or some other tricks.
Wait a minute. I'm not suggesting anything here. I'm just thinking out loud.
It doesn't make sense that the plague appeared just like that. Out of bloody nowhere? Hell no. It's a high-stakes game.
Power over us, of course. Over our bodies and souls. Over Avalon. Over the whole damn course of history. You know, I've been thinking lately. What if King Arthur is just a stupid fairy tale? What if the nobles and others involved in the whole conspiracy just made him up? And us peasants eventually just started to believe in it.
You know, one story for everyone. They drilled it into our heads, and drilled until it finally stuck. And then they built statues, wrote books, and everything else. You finally get it. It's just a pity that there are so few like us. Well, we just have to keep going, eh? And while we're at it, I have to get back to work. I'm on duty.
Welcome! In the name of our eternally reigning majesty, King Arthur, and the Knights of the Round Tables. I am obliged to inform you that fighting those who actively break the law and reject the rule of the crown is the duty and pride of every subject. As Camelot's representative, I will be paying a bounty of 10 gold pieces for the death of each bandit roving the area, as long as adequate proof is provided.
I also recommend checking the bounty board for information on wanted criminals, especially those considered particularly dangerous. Please, state your business.
That's correct. My name is Lillian. I was sent here from the capital to see how the Horns of the South are handling the bandit problem, and also to encourage the Keepers to fight. The situation with the Pict and Del Rita savages is precarious. Too bad we can't get rid of them as easily as we did with the Druids. There have also been rumors that we might soon have a civil war on our hands, so Camelot cannot afford to spread our forces too thin. There are rumors that the Rita tribes want to unite, and that would mean open war with Camelot. As for those Pict savages, they've been growing bold, leaving their forest. For now, it's just been small scrimmages. But who knows how it would end? Well, you've probably heard about the Druids making human sacrifices by stuffing people into wicker puppets and setting them on fire. Well, the people decided to give them a taste of their own medicine. They rounded them all up, and then sent them up in smoke. Oh, how they must have howled and sizzled. Too bad I couldn't see it. Yep, made human sacrifices, prayed to the dark gods, brought the weirdness back. Bunch of bastards. Good thing they're worm food now. Most of them, the survivors have supposedly taken refuge with savages in the woods, and one of them is rumored to be hiding in the Horns area. But whether that was before or after the Charred Conclave, I don't know. Would you like to hear about him? His name was Slaudiarg. He was lurking near Blood Lake, a small pond where they used to throw the bodies of executed convicts. They say he would fish them out and use his magic to turn them into undead monsters. Supposedly, he started needing some fresher corpses, so he slaughtered one of the keepers. The Horns organized a manhunt. They found him and sentenced him to death. People say that the moment his body touched the surface of Blood Lake, the water turned red and it's been scarred since that day. Some say that Slaudiarg came back from the dead and seeks revenge. But if you ask me, it's just a tale by local simpletons. I don't really have much more to tell. It's hard to get any updates here. I only know that the new Lancelot has not been very popular, and that's putting it mildly. The Witch Morgaine would have been burnt at the stake long ago if everyone weren't so afraid of her. And then we have the commoners who seem to keep forgetting their place, and loudly demanding changes. Everything is falling apart. None so far. The Keepers don't want to risk being turned into pincushions for a mere 10 gold pieces. Besides, the captain banned them from leaving the Horns of the South without a good reason. Too many bandits and not enough Keepers. Well, Camelot would send a group of knights with Sir Galahad at the head, and he's not interested in half measures. He'd probably burn down half the garrison, or hang them. He's done both. By the way, did you know that people who are hanged rarely die from strangulation? Usually the sudden jolt causes the backbone to snap, which separates the head from the body. A while ago, I saw someone hanged in the village, and it's true. One snap, and it's done. No matter what you say about him, he's very efficient. Brutal, even by my standards, but efficient. Oh, sure, plenty. Did you know that apparently if you cut off someone's head, they don't die straight away, but remain conscious for a few moments? If someone dies in a damp, closed-off space, sometimes, but very rarely, their body creates a thin layer of wax on the surface of the skin. I heard that a body decomposes in water 4 times faster than on land. I need to think. If I remember anything, I'll let you know.
Really? You fought bandits and killed them? Oh, I want to hear all the details. Here's your reward, but promise you'll tell me everything. Oh, someone finally checked out the notices I was posting on the board.
Go chop off some heads. Oh, hey, before you go, I can see the bloodlust in your eyes, you know. It takes one to know one. So here's some friendly advice, free of charge. If you're seeking scum to slay, you'll find bandits in the ruins of a merchant settlement nearby. It's worth visiting if you haven't already.
Oh, a new face. It's always nice to see someone new here. Welcome, welcome. Why didn't I notice you earlier? Yes, my apologies. Ever since breakfast today, I've been sort of lost in thought. I keep thinking of my dear mother's cooking, especially her famous pie. You see, all we got here is venison and fish. Venison, then fish. And then fish, fish, and more fish. I can live with all the bullshit that's thrown at us soldiers. But the longer I live, the more I realize there's not much to live for, except food. And I'd kill for a slice of that pie. As if it were that easy. I ain't much of a cook. And Rorik, the one we have here, well, he says we're soldiers, so we can stick our complaints up our asses. Really? Sure, I remember it well. Here you go.
Friend, a question. Do you know why people always stop and watch a blacksmith at work? Because he's riveting. It's good to see a new face in this sad hole.
Oh, of course. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Osbert, local master of hammers and anvils. Do you need your blade sharpened?
Oh, not really. Especially since we went into a lockdown a while ago. People used to come and go. Now and then a ship would make a stop at the village below, but nobody's really come around since. Well, since the entire shit show that's going down everywhere. Now that I think of it, you're the first they've let in. What'd you do? Who did you bribe? Oh, so you have friends in Camelot. Good for you. course I do. Those pins are peak craftsmanship, and very rare at that. We only gave them out on Camelot's orders. But when I look at you, well, it's pretty obvious you wouldn't be able to beat a knight. And even if you found one already dead, you'd sooner nick his armor than a pin you knew nothing about. Either way, good for you. Yeah, after we lost 2 squads trying to take back the All-Mother's Temple from the Dalrita, our captain decided that nobody leaves the Horns. Then, he shut himself in his office, without leaving us any orders. Virgus is trying to keep the lads occupied, but... just look around. Half of the people here are losing their minds, and the rest are losing their wages on drink. Sometimes I wonder, how many things can go wrong at the same time. They say that misery loves company, but here, it's like we've done something to anger the gods, and they're taking their sweet revenge. First, we started hearing that the weirdness was spreading near Grubwood. Soon after that, we saw waves of bandits approaching from there. Desperate people. They took a lot of our territory. Then, the Dalrita tribes took over the All-Mother's Temple. And after that, the supply chains from Camelot collapsed for some reason. And so on and so forth. We're in quite a pickle, my friend. We've started betting on what's going to happen next. Sea monsters? Who knows? Yes, that damn forest north of here was already cursed and creepy. But now, I've heard it's an entirely different level of crazy. They say that some men here started going dark up north. With that, the weirdness started moving. And when the weirdness gets here, well, we're fucked. But you know that. Every child has heard the stories. That's... I don't know. It's hard to explain. They kept to themselves, perched in the mountains near the Forlorn Swords. Then something happened, and suddenly we saw ships arriving near our eastern shores. A couple days later, the tribes took over. One good thing is that the bandits aren't up to fighting with them. One bad thing, we aren't either. Truth be told, most of them are just people desperate to survive. When the villagers started dying out because of the weirdness, hunger, or raids, they lost their livelihoods, ended up with nothing to their names, and nowhere to go. So they banded together and started raiding whatever was left. Then they turned to killing each other. They're like rabid wolves. Too bad they're here now, too. I heard that dew fell down the stairs and didn't break a single bone. So that's a start. Other than that, no, I can't think of anything. Ha! Friend, I wish. But the only task I could use help with might be a bit too delicate for you to handle.
Unless you're a master goldsmith, then feel free to prove it, and I'll have work for you immediately. There's just not enough of them to go around. And now that we're on lockdown, there's not much demand for my services either. Listen, I said I don't have any jobs, as in things I pay you for doing. That doesn't mean I can't teach you a thing or two. If you're willing to learn, that is. Since you're free to wander about while I'm stuck in the keep, maybe we can make good use of that. You've probably bashed in the skull of a beast or two, right? The alchemists. They're likely snatching up the corpses, using the muck to cook their weird concoctions. But perhaps you'd rather craft yourself some armor from those hides, huh? We should start with something simple. Let's see. I'll give you some notes on how to make armor. You gather the materials and get to work. And when you're done, you can bring it over so I can see what you've made.
Good to see you again. The pledge today was very interesting, wasn't it? The certainty in Quartermaster Aymer's voice. Beautiful. Makes one eager to start work. So, what do you need this time? The pass again? Are we planning a trip to the Stale Lamb? Hey, not this time, my friend. I've run out of ink. I'm waiting for a delivery. Steward Orla will let me know when more arrives. In the meantime, I need to ask you for a favor. So, you in? For the sake of our long friendship? You do know it needs to stay between us. Do you understand? Say you understand. Fantastic. So, here's the thing. On a recent night out at Wrongs, it seems I may have left some sensitive documents at the bar. Documents, with Captain Fergus' seal. But not necessarily sealed by him. You know what I mean. I can't really go there right now. Could you get them back for me? I'm sure it won't be too much of a problem. Splendid! When you have the documents, meet me at the third crowing of the rooster. Or just find me. I'll be around. You're back! Hi! See you next time. I'm sure we'll see each other at the pledge.
You need something. You all right, newbie? Have you been to see the refugees? I can't believe poor Cole was put in a cage. Hey, what a mess.
Cole came to us with a group of refugees from some nearby villages. They were looking for shelter from, well, everything that's been happening here. Bandits, the weirdness, the Del Reader, hunger. I was happy Fergus let them in and allowed them to stay. You'll meet them in the village. They live in the buildings up high.
Not long ago, though, Cole started acting very strange, erratic, sometimes even aggressive. One of our keepers, Old Mahon, tried to calm him down. He might have used too much force, and Cole felt compelled to defend himself. He bit Old Mahon. And since then, the old fool has been lying in the infirmary. Frankly, I think Mahon brought it on himself. They shouldn't have put that poor man in a cage. Wait, if you ever meet Patrice, please give her those flowers. I know it's not much, but I'd like her to know she's not alone. I support her and the other refugees. And I'm sure there are more of us who do.
If you're here to see the healer, don't bother. He's a quack and a butcher who likes to watch people suffer. I came to him with a toothache, asked him to make me something for the pain, and you know what he did? He said my tooth is rotten, and then sent me to Osprey to get it pulled out. Sounds like horse crap. My grandma was smarter than your lot, and she couldn't even read. She knew how to make a proper potion for toothache. If I were any good at mixing that stuff, I wouldn't need to deal with quacks like Heber. I even gave him my grandma's recipe, but he said it was no good. Don't know. Probably just didn't like that an old woman from a backwater village was a better healer than him. Oh yeah? And then what? Another and then another? Give it a few years and I'd be left with no teeth at all. Ah, leave me alone.
Oh, sorry. Do I know you? I'm terrible with faces. Either way, glad to make your acquaintance. I'm Jan Heber, a physician raised in Camelot and trained in the Royal Academy. Is some local witchcraft I've been trying to make sense of. I guess I'll find out when I try it. Experience is the best teacher. Don't worry, I'm not testing anything on the others. Graham the Mad, a great Camelotian physician, used to say that a real doctor would never give his patients something he hadn't tried on himself first. A wise approach, which I follow myself. The pursuit of knowledge is always dangerous. That's why it's reserved for only the bravest of the brave. It takes true guts to face the unknown, to realize just how little you know, and how insignificant you are to the world. Oh, that was unexpected. Here, take it. What will happen, I have no idea, but please tell me, if you live to find out. What irony? Healing diseases, sometimes cutting people open. Oh, and pulling out teeth seems to be a leading cause of concern for everyone around here. Me pulling teeth in the arse end of the world? My friends back in Camelot would laugh their brains out. I was classically trained in the proper art of medicine by the scholars of Camelot. The things they do here, they make no sense. No sense at all. Most of this stuff shouldn't even be effective, yet it seems to work wonders on these simple-minded, tough-bodied people here in the south. Shipments from Camelot are late, so I'm running low on supplies. If I'm not able to treat them, they'll start complaining. And Fergus doesn't like when people complain, especially when it comes to their health. He truly cares about them, I've got to admit. He doesn't care much about anyone else, though. I don't dream about anything anymore, so sleep feels like a waste of precious time. Fortunately, back in Camelot, I found a mix of remedies that can keep me awake for a whole week. It was quite popular in our study group. Oh no, every physician needs his secrets. But I can sell you some if you promise not to tell any of the higher-ups. There are side effects. You won't fall asleep for a while, but the moment you do, well, you'll feel like you died and came back to life, only to die again. So you either take the next dose, or endure it. I can endure it because I don't have a post to attend to. But our brave soldiers, well, that'd be risky. Well, they already trust my word, and I'll be sure to deny everything. Moreover, I'm in the position to raise my prices, or to refuse to sell you medicine, whichever suits my mood. I'm honestly quite offended you're even asking. Why would you, though? Don't you have better things to do? Aha, got it. So you're up for work not out of the goodness of your heart, but for your own selfish plans. Understood. It's a good reason. Well, I'd say it's better than most. But all right, if you're a mercenary, then I do have a job for someone who'd be willing to risk their life in exchange for material goods. Back at the Academy, I found an ancient scroll written by the Druids. Forbidden knowledge, especially now after the mob forced them all into a wicker man and burned every last one of them to ash. I finally deciphered it a little while ago. It describes a ritual that needs to be performed at night within a stone circle. And guess what? There's one in the nearby forest. I guess you already know what I need you to do, hmm? That is an excellent question. But I don't know. From what I've been able to decipher, it's a summoning spell to bring something or someone to our world. That being will share its great knowledge with the one brave enough to summon it. I need you to remember what it says and repeat it to me after you're back, word for word. Isn't it obvious? I'm the only medic they have here at the Horns. I'd like to see Fergus's face if he hears about me going out there. And here I am, thinking that everyone's already heard about the Charred Conclave. Well, it wasn't the proudest moment in our history, that's for sure. You truly don't know. At some point, the villagers all around the island decided that the Druids were responsible for the Red Death, and all other ailments of our times. They rounded them all up in a massive wicker man north of the Forlorn Swords, and burned them all to ashes. Hundreds of years of knowledge gone within the blink of an eye. But, well, that's what's bound to happen when you stop paying for people's education and invest in keeping the elites fed instead. In Camelot, maybe, but this far south? Nobody cares. I've spent my entire life digging through scrolls and books in pursuit of their knowledge. I've been reading about their rites and the descriptions of their rituals. Look, I'm sure they were onto something. They knew much more than we do, but it feels like there's a veil wrapped tightly around that knowledge. It's like I need to find the right spell, the right ritual, something that will unwrap it for me.
Blessings upon you, stranger. May the word always resonate within your soul. It's a sickness, a corruption, but also a mystery. Many of my brothers would call it a curse, a stain upon Avalon that must be purged. And yet, I wonder, did Kai not teach us that all things have a purpose? That even suffering carries wisdom? The weirdness twists and warps, yes. It consumes and it takes. But it also gives. Life grows in its wake. Strange and terrible, but life all the same. If we are to fight it, we must first understand it. And that is what frightens the Church most of all. Understanding. What do you mean, my child? I'm afraid you are attributing too many characteristics to me based solely on the clothes I wear. The Horns of the South are my home. My mission is to spread the word. The word is good. I'm afraid that I simply cannot believe your blasphemous words without proof. So it's your word against the word. Let's leave it at that. As prepared as any men can be against something they barely understand. Swords and fire will hold back beasts. But what of the creeping rot that twists flesh and mind alike? But there is one thing. The Excalibur they keep here. It has not been wielded in an age, yet the weird does not creep near it. Well, even as it rests upon its pedestal, the air around it remains untouched. The tendrils of corruption that strangle stone and steel refuse to claim it. The Keepers may not see it for what it is, but I do. There is power in that blade. Something ancient, something beyond the Church's teachings. And if it truly holds back the weirdness, then perhaps it was never meant for men alone. Safe? No. But safer than most, I suppose. But tell me, what is safety, truly? A stronghold? A weapon? A prayer? I've seen men with all three fall just the same. So no, I do not feel safe. But I do feel watched. And sometimes that is enough. Certainly. Kai's blessings know no bounds, but sometimes it's useful to seal them in a handy flask. Certainly. Kai's May Kai's word always guide you. In the word, you will find solace.
Hey, tell me, can you read? Listen, I'm no good with words. Could you read me a letter from my sister? She's learning how to read and write. Can you believe it? She writes letters to me. I'm so proud of her. Oh, thanks. Here's the letter. And what did it say? Everyone's healthy? No, you must have misunderstood something. What do I do now? I don't know. I don't know what to do. I should go back to him, right? I guess that's true. Yes. Excuse me. I need to be alone.
Are you here to keep me company or put me out of my misery? Just kidding. Love the view, but this weather is killing me. Always windy. Always moist. You don't say. I didn't choose to be here. Our beloved quartermaster sent me to freeze my arse off. He said as punishment for spitting on the good name of the keepers. Whatever the hell that means. I just got drunk in the tavern and lost half my pay. And maybe some of my clothes. But I mean, why would he even care? It was my gold. I can spend it how I please. Oh, aye. I need a warm coat. And I mean the absolute warmest coat you can get, huh? Osprey might have something in stock or know how to make one. I'd ask myself, but he's not exactly speaking with me these days. Stupid. That's what I was. I may or may not have commented on our blacksmith's skill. I gave him a blade to sharpen, and when I got it back, it was still dull. Osprey swore he did his job properly. I said he's getting old. And so on and so forth, until it turned out that my mate had played a trick on me, swapped my sword with another one that was as dull as a stump. I tried to make amends with Osprey, but the old man's pride is as stiff as his steel. Can't say I blame him. Now, here I am, frozen to the bone and in need of a hand. You got one to spare? Oh, come on, can't you see I'm freezing? Who in their right mind orders someone with bad joints to patrol the walls in this kind of weather, eh? Thanks. I'll be right here, freezing my arse off.
Huh. It's for Dan, isn't it? That ungrateful bastard's still on the wall. Disagreement? Sure, you could call it that, and I guess I might have overreacted a bit. But since Dan is on the wall and I'm here, I couldn't tell him that I get it. The prank and all. And I forgave him a long time ago. Now that I think about it, it was a hell of a prank. Well, he was right. I am old, but inefficient stung a little bit. After all, I did my job well, and his sword is as sharp as Excalibur itself. Well, I may not be angry with him anymore, but that doesn't mean I'll work my ass off so that his doesn't freeze. Here's an explanation of how to make it. Feel free to help him out yourself.
Sir, I haven't seen you before. I wasn't expecting any guests, and you don't look like a new recruit. And yet, Odrin let you in. He's not drinking again, I hope. Most unfortunate, but that explains why you just strutted into the horns. I'm afraid I'll have to take action. The name's Fergus, and I assume you already know I'm the quartermaster here. Now state your business. And please, try to be convincing, or the walls of this fortress will be the last thing you'll ever see. Yes, I know. And that's why you're still standing in front of me. However, these pens were only given to certain people. They mean that in times of trouble, these people will always find a safe haven here in the Horns. And that makes me wonder, what happened to your friend? Where is he? If what you're saying is true, he must have had a deal with somebody well above my pay grade, and that leaves only the captain. However, if you're lying, then you might as well have just confessed to the murder of a Knight of the Round Table. But nobody's that much of a fool, I think. Fortunately for you, I've seen my fair share of morons in life, and you don't look like one. Fortunately for me, this pen only means that I'm to make sure you're safe in the Horns. Nothing about helping you out with whatever you're up to. Anyway, welcome to the Horns of the South. Make yourself at home. That's between her and the captain. Were it up to me, she'd be long gone. Her presence here distracts my men. I'm Captain Brandon's right hand. He deals with the serious matters I don't want to know anything about. I take care of our everyday life. Fine then. This is the keep. Anyone sworn in as a keeper lives here, unless they're no longer fit for service. If that happens, they get transferred to the village. Otherwise, they're not allowed to go there without my express permission. So if you ever see any of my boys down there looking shifty, feel free to report them. You're allowed to walk around the keep and the village, but if anyone catches you stealing, I'll take your hands. If you attack any of my men, I'll take your head. That enough for you? He's not our first line of defense. The archers are. Every man here needs to have a job, and no offense to Odrin, but let's just say we can afford to lose him. I'm sure the hordes of visitors clamoring at our gates can survive the insult. We've been having trouble with the dead lately. The kind that don't want to rest in peace. There are more and more of them roaming the area. It might just be the weirdness, as it has been steadily creeping closer from the north, but somehow I doubt it. Anyway, I suggest you go see Marg first. He knows best what's going on there. He's our huntsman. He keeps us stocked with meat, so the lads don't have to live on fish alone. They get pretty grumpy when that happens. Right now, Marg is the only other person who's allowed to leave the keep. I'm not about to risk the life of our last link to the outside world, especially when you're so eager to lend a hand. There is a local legend about a dark druid named Slaughter? Slaudier? Slaughter, that was it. He was a necromancer rumored to be able to raise the dead and make them do his bidding. It's quite an old legend, though, so unless he managed to raise himself from the dead, I doubt he's behind this. It's old. From what I've heard, it even predates the Horns of the South. The keepers and the people from the village below used to bury their dead there, but after the flood, it's been pretty much abandoned. Yeah, damn druids. They flooded a village of innocent people just to show everyone they're still in power. Fat lot of good it did them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad we got rid of them. The things they could do were unnatural. It's not far, and it's hard to miss. But honestly, I'd suggest you go see Marg first. You don't really know what you're walking into, so if I were you, I'd try to learn as much as possible beforehand. The captain forbade anyone from leaving the keep, so I couldn't. And truth be told, I didn't particularly want to. We don't get many recruits, and you're, well, your words, not mine. Good. Try not to get yourself killed, and get rid of whatever's been causing the problem. That's one of our tags. Every soldier gets one when they pledge their loyalty. I just hope the body you took it from was already cold, because killing a keeper would land you in some serious trouble. You know, here's what I'm thinking. If you stumble over any of our fallen keepers out there, bring me their tags. Sure, they all swore to stay here until the bitter end, but they have families who deserve to know what became of them. It's part of my duty, but since I can't send any more beyond these walls, maybe you could lend a hand. I'll pay you for every tag you bring back. It used to belong to the keep. You could say it was its beating heart. That village was where our lighthouses led the ships, and where the workers lived with their families. Ah, those must have been the days. But then the ships stopped coming, and there were less and less new keepers, and the others left looking for a better life. Until, at last, the sea took most of it. Depends on your idea of interesting. There's a weird statue with a gong, but I'm not sure how much of it is left. Other than that, probably just damp rubble. I don't know, ask Marg. I'm pretty sure he just sits there all day instead of hunting. No wonder we've been eating nothing but fish. What else was there to do? There weren't enough people to live there, and nobody wanted to anyway. Not since the monsters started coming out of the sea. We wiped out most of them, but new ones showed up every now and then. Marg, our hunter, keeps an eye on the place. You can talk to him if you want. Just as I thought. If you have friends among the knights, you'll want to talk to the captain. But that's not happening anytime soon. Because I said so. What? Did you really expect that you could just enter our keep and head straight for the captain's quarters? There wouldn't be much point in having walls and guards here if anyone could just do that, would there? So what? And have you helped any of my people? Or are you just here to wave that pen in my face again? First, show me you care, and then I'll take you to the captain. I can't have every random stray wasting his time. Not now, when the outcome of the war with its tribes is so precarious. I trust we understand each other? Good. Come back when you've proven your worth to the Horns of the South. Then we'll talk. Excalibur. You want to pull it out? That's a good one. Well, be my guest. If you think you can, go ahead. But unless you're King Arthur reborn, I wouldn't count on it. If you need rest, you can sleep in the barracks. It's no royal chamber, but it's better to sleep under a roof than under the stars, right? Especially in this horrible weather.
Hey. Hello. Are you also wondering why the heck we need them? Lighthouses. Why the hell are Dara and his workers pushing so hard to build the second one? Is one not enough? Is it because one is less than two and less is worse? I mean, two lighthouses next to each other are almost the same as one, and ships don't even sail this way anymore. Ah, symbolism. Yeah, maybe, whatever that is. Aye, why would they? The waters are treacherous, so no ships. Storms and the weirdness are a deadly combination. Besides, who'd have the time to build or repair them? There are enough problems on the island. We don't need more. Well, not much going on here, as you can see. Things have been a bit different lately, due to the refugees. One was even hanged for theft. But I can't say much more as I wasn't there. If you're interested in the horns, you should visit our museum. You'll learn more about that fella, Swal, or whatever his name is. What do I think? Well, as long as they follow the rules, they can stay. And if they don't, then they can hang. That's all. Folks are saying that there's some other group, probably more dangerous, not so far from here. If they come closer, well, that wouldn't be too good. Aye, it's boring, but at least you don't have to pay to enter. But almost nobody goes there anyway. You can stay here and serve. Sit in the tavern, drink and eat something. If you're looking for an adventure, you'll have to go elsewhere. There's always something happening out in the world. But you know what? Here in the south, everything happens late. It's a big world out there, and a small one right here. I wonder if, once they finish this one, they'll start building a third.
Everything will be just fine. Bloody seagulls! Can you hear me, you flying vermin? Just try landing here and I'll pluck your asses clean. A keep by the sea. What a great idea that was. And what do you want? I'm fixated. Me! Oh, you didn't see what they did to me a week ago. I was just standing watch as usual, and then, suddenly, splat. A dozen of them flying overhead, screeching, shitting and whatnot. So I yelled what I think about them, shaking my fist. And then another 4, splat! And they kept screeching. I tell you, they're laughing at me. I spent all night cleaning my armor. Sewell didn't think it through when he decided where to put the keep, mark my words. Sure, if you haven't noticed yet, everything here tries to destroy you, including the bloody seagulls. I once managed to shoot a few. I thought they'd learned their lesson and wouldn't be flying over here anymore. And guess what they did? They kept shitting. With increased force. Like they're planning it. Vengeful scoundrels. I need to try a different strategy. Find something that will make them feel real terror. Like the way crows are afraid of scarecrows in fields. I'm sure seagulls also have something that scares them. We just need to find out what it is. Oh, thank you. I just need you to bring me some kind of a bird scarer. They'll learn their lesson and keep away from me. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anyone crazy enough to take up something like this. There is one guy in the museum, Riderick. He's supposed to know everything.
Were you at the pledge? I didn't see you. Yeah. Victory over health. Honor over life. Yeah. Bandits, tribes, Sodom all. Sleep, damn it, is the worst son of a bitch I ever fought. No sleeping, no. The service is eternal. Where would we be if Seawall took naps all the time? You need to serve, not... I shut my eyes for about 15 minutes every day, sometimes 20. Besides, a true keeper doesn't sleep. He keeps watch. The Old Mother will reward me after I'm dead. But I'm not gonna lie. That potion from Eber, our physician, works miracles. You could stand on the walls all day and night and not even think about closing your eyes. What? Listen, pal, I never asked. I just came in the evenings when I was getting sleepy and took it. And then Yan put it somewhere else. Keeper's Vigor. Good stuff. Excuse me? Those were local supplies for every keeper. Shit. Maybe I was stealing. Oh, I never thought about it like that.
should stay out of trouble.
attention, the better.
Hey, you're heading to the village, right? Tiernan should let you in. Take this medicine to my father, will you? Goban is a loud man. You shouldn't have trouble finding him. I can't promise that talking to him will be any fun. Come to me afterwards.
Ah, he used to serve too. In fact, he was the builder before me. Now he's just an old fart angry at the world.
But a father is a father, right? We may hate each other, but as long as I can help him, I will. Hence, the medicine.
If Haber doesn't know, then I don't either. So we keep trying. Because he received orders not to let any keeper through without a pass, and I don't have one. I've already used mine. Guess what I used it on? That's right, bringing medicine to my father. When that idiot gets an order, he's like a priest who stumbled into an orgy. He's got a stick up his ass. Nothing gets through him. Not all keepers have been here their entire life, you know? He got me before he joined the Horns. Serves me right for wanting to find him, stupid son of a bitch. If only I knew what it would entail. If I had a gold coin for every time someone asked me that, I could fund the damn thing myself. Look, it's Camelot's orders. I get paid to follow them, not to question them. If they want to throw money at us to keep up appearances, that's their problem. I'm not about to stop them. I don't know. Following my old man here was all I ever wanted. Never saw myself as anything else. Tried picturing myself as a husband, a father once. But, nah. I wouldn't know how to raise a kid. I'd just mess them up. Like father, like son, I guess. Well, no, of course not. We're not priestesses of the All-Mother. A woman can be an old crone and still devote herself to the All-Mother. But a man's got to have some fight left in him to be a keeper. Old enough to hold a sword, young enough to not break under its weight. We all got different roles around the keep, sure. But at the core, we're warriors. Don't forget that. Stay out of trouble.
Have mercy, not another one. If I let you pass, will you promise not to make any trouble? That's just my luck. Take the post, Tiernan, they told me. You'll be looking after a village full of old farts. That's practically early retirement, they said. What a load of crap. There's always something. If it's not the deck falling apart, it's a refugee running around biting people. Well, to be fair, he only bit one person. But it was a keeper. I know Mahone can be a piece of shit sometimes, but gods. Now both of them are sick, and Haber's got no clue what's wrong. Which is the only reason that refugee isn't dead. Yet. So, he's sitting in a cage. His wife's crying all day, and everyone's pissed. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in the middle of it all. No, not really. Fortunately. No need to tell me that. But I can't just go back to patrolling the walls. I'd be a laughingstock. I'd rather sit here and hope everything works itself out. I mean, everyone's gotta die someday, right? So whether it's me or them, at least my problems will be over. The deck? Nah, just old wood. Honestly, it's the least of my problems. But I've got no way to fix it. Dara's always busy with his lighthouse, and every time I try to do it myself, someone else needs me for something. I can't even sneak out to the tavern because last time some rich bint started complaining that everything here smells of fish. That's a seaside village. What else would it smell of? You do that? That would be a huge relief. Well, maybe not huge. There are bigger problems, but it'd be a start. Truth be told, I don't know why they want it so badly. It's for boats. No one here even uses boats. But, well, you know how it is with old folks. Once they get fixated on something, there's no point in arguing. I'd pay if I could, but this was supposed to be my job. The budget's long gone. But if you're interested, I could teach you a thing or two about home decor. Not exactly standard keeper knowledge, but, well, we all have our secrets. Surprised? Can't blame you. This might sound odd coming from someone stationed in a glorified fish bucket, but I've got a thing for furniture. The only thing more mismatched than the barracks around here is my career choice. But, yeah, I like imagining places where things fit. Where chairs don't wobble, tables don't look like someone hacked them together with a dull axe, and beds, well, beds don't feel like they're plotting your murder while you sleep. Not exactly a secret I broadcast. Most folks see me as Tiernan the Grumbler. But, hey, we've all got something that keeps us sane, right? Mine just happens to be daydreaming about nicer chairs. Oh, she's a real piece of work, that one. Her name's Lady Elisa... something. I don't remember. She came here with her husband. Poor man. I never heard him get a word in. You know, sometimes I regret not getting married. But if I had a wife like her, I'd just end up being a keeper all over again. Ah, that's you. Do you need something? See you around.
What do you want? To gawk at the beast? Well, I'll have to disappoint you. My Cole is not the monster you all believe him to be. So you really don't know? If you're not from here, I'm not sure what could have brought you to this hellhole. But you have my sympathies. Just know that Cole isn't like that. Something is poisoning his mind and soul. I don't know what it is, or why it happened to Cole, but now we're all at the mercy of those damned keepers. One evening there was a quarrel between our group, the villagers, and one of the keepers. They'd had a bit too much to drink and let some comments slip. They hurled insults at us, saying there's no place for us here, that we should just get the hell out of here because things are hard for everyone. Hard? Sure. I bet that bunch of wimps wouldn't last a week outside. All they do is sit in that keep of theirs, thinking they're the defenders of justice. Well, Cole went mad. I've never seen him like that before. He attacked that keeper and bit him. It was serious, but the keeper survived. If it weren't for the other men from the village, things could have ended very differently. Afterwards, they chained Cole up and locked him in a cage. His condition started to worsen. They said a monster like him doesn't deserve a jail cell. Jail cells are for humans. Bastards. This might sound silly, but before we reached the keep, we came near a strange structure. The locals call it the Arch Spire. In the morning, we realized everyone had a strange dream, but it was a little different for each of us. Cole started acting weird after that, and in time, it only got worse. No, only that, well, it didn't make much sense, but he was convinced that something bit him. He kept checking. It must have been some bug. Something changed by the weirdness. That must have caused his fever, his insanity. Well, it was pretty typical. We started a fire and threw some cobwebs into it. Frank brought them back from one of his treks. That boy could always find them somehow. It was our protection from the night and the weirdness. Ellis was on watch that day, but from what he told us, he eventually fell asleep. We were lucky no one slit our throats. I was in a strange place. Dark. Full of fog. Eerie. I was trying to find him. I called out, but no one answered. I was alone in the night, and then I kept falling, and falling, and falling. And then I woke up. We set up camp near the Arch Spire. We hoped that bandits wouldn't dare to venture into a place like that. Well, now I know why we could have been right. With everything that's been happening lately, I'm ready to believe in every strange thing in this world.
Bloody hell, look at this! The old place is in a shambles. Bunch of decrepit old coots.
They do nothing but shuffle around, stare at walls, and sleep under leaking roofs. Can't even hammer a nail properly. I'm telling you, if I was still working here, this place wouldn't be falling apart. But I'm not. Oh, shite. I can't even stand to look at it, let alone live here.
And who are you? What you want? You another one of Durar's freeloaders?
I bloody knew it. Retirement my arse. It's shit. Never a moment of peace.
At least when I was still working, there was always something to do. Now, so, what you want? One day, my boy got it into his stupid head that old Gaban is ill. Bullshit! They're all telling me I should do something about it, or else I'm done for. I'll be dead as a doornail in no time.
Ha! Like hell I will. I'm still here, ain't I? I've served my time. I've lived me life. And now you can all kiss my arse. So there. Peace and quiet. Good one. I'll only have my peace and quiet when I'm finally dead. And that ain't gonna happen soon.
At least when I'm with Finley, I don't need to listen to his nagging. Listen, they wanted Heber, that healer from the keep, to come here. He did. They wanted him to look me over. He did. Then he just threw up his hands, mumbled something to himself, and that was it. Hell, I should have been an healer. Wouldn't mind going around being a pain in everyone's arse for a living. These herbs. No idea what they're for. Heber said he doesn't know what's wrong with me, so there's no illness. I'm fit as a fiddle. Good thing that at least the one guy who hangs around, Finley's the name, doesn't nag me all the time. Yeah, right. He'd better focus on his job. What's got you so nosy? Pour me a drink, and I might open up. So, what was your question? Hold on. Finley is not my caregiver. He's my helper at most.
Hey, first of all, I'm not a cripple who needs a decrepit dimwit running round after me.
Secondly, do you know the problem with having a helper who's mute? He doesn't bloody talk.
I mean, it's not all bad. At least I don't have to listen to even more bullshit. He puffs up like a marshmallow every time he tries to say something. But I don't understand shit. Getting a bit curious, I see. Hand me a drink, and I'll answer. Maybe. So, what was your question?
You see, back in the day, being a keeper was a serious business. Now, don't even get me started. You used to come here with a mission, not to run away from your bloody mother.
Nowadays, lads get brought here by their own kin when they've had enough of them, or they think the Orns can hide them from the law.
No, back in my day there was none of this scum. I came here to serve. My girl cried when I left her, but I've always known this is where I wanted to be. How was I supposed to know she had a bloody bun in the oven? By the time the wean was born, I was already planning the lighthouse's construction. Jack knows what he came here for. That's not my problem anymore, and I don't stick my nose in anyone else's business.
What's with all the questions? Get me a drink and maybe I'll consider talking. So, what was your question? I'm starting to like you, stranger. And trust me, it's been a long time since I liked, well, anybody. I liked me brothers in arms back in my glory days. Good lads, every damn one of them. Tough as nails, loyal to a fault.
The kind of men you'd want beside you in the darkest holes of Avalon. But they're gone now, all of them. The old captain got it in his head to send us down to rediscover some mouldy tunnels under the keep. Damn fool mission that was. We went in together, but I was the only one to come back out. I can still see all their faces when I close my eyes. A hard loss it was, but I'm still here. Oh, some days I wonder why. Curious, aren't you? Fetch me a drink and we'll see about a chat. Ah, so, what was your question? Those tunnels, right. Well, me and the lads went down there to check if we could repurpose them under the horns. Damn fool mission that was. But it wasn't just some empty caves. There were monsters, straight out of Age of Legends. Sick stuff. Stuff to get under your skin. Looked like... Ah, hell. Memory's all twisted up now. Like a bloody nightmare mixed with shadows that don't belong. Wanna know more? Speak with Fergus. He's in charge of this shit show now. Now, I propose a toast to those lost souls. This one's on me. Feast, you say? Problem is, sometimes I think they never died. They haunt me in my dreams, you know? Bloody bastards. I swear I wanted to go back and retrieve their bodies. But our late captain, made Grindelows piss on his grave, forbade me from going back. But when I drink, I usually pass out, and then I don't remember my dreams. So, I drink. Ah, my brothers deserved better. Can still see their faces. Hard to think they're just gone.
Beer from Kunacht, wine from Farshire, moonshine, only local, the best there is. And fish. Lots and lots of fish. What's your poison? No, I don't recall anything like that. No, listen. I don't know what's going on, but I doubt any of the keepers had anything important on them. Half of them couldn't tell the quartermaster's seal from a pile of horse dung someone stepped on. But that means... no. Impossible. What if... Holy moonshine. I remember. Sigibald. It was Sigibald who left those documents behind. I've no idea how you found out about it. Sigi. He's dead. Taken by a fever. Aye, of course I have. I didn't just throw them in some cabinet. I was afraid they'd fall into the wrong hands. He was a good man. I wouldn't get rid of my only memento of him. Here, after what you said, I assume you'll make good use of them. Even though I'm still not sure what to think about it. Things are getting weirder and weirder in our beloved Avalon. Well, he died like he lived, with a tankard in his hand. The boys always said Sigi was a friend worth 5 others. And he was. He was a prankster like no other. Once, he slipped a rotten egg into the quartermaster's dinner. Never a dull moment with him, that's for sure. No problem. Listen, if by some miracle you really talked with Sigibald, please, give him my warm regards. I don't understand anything anymore. You mean the old pier? Well, first of all, it's not that old. Brennan was already the captain when it was built. Why is it called that? Don't know. Probably because of all those old folks around. A lot has been happening here lately. Plenty of new faces. I definitely can't complain. I'm finally running a proper tavern. People come and go and the regulars drink as usual, as it should be. Daddy will be proud. Hey, not here, obviously. You won't see your old man here unless your name's Dara. Mine sent me here because he hoped I'd make something out of my life. He never wanted me to pour a beer and look at the same tired mugs day in, day out, but as it turns out, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I got mauled by a werebeast during a hunt, and after that, the captain decided I wasn't any good for active service, so he sent me here. I was bored out of my mind, and since there wasn't one here, I decided to start a tavern. At least I'm not as bored anymore.
Who are you? Another refugee? This place is already crawling with your lot. It's like a Camelosian privy after a feast. In my day, you only saw old familiar faces round here. And maybe we didn't all love each other, but a local is a local. It was easier to share with others, even when you didn't have much. That's so. Fine. Whatever you say. But yeah, I could see that you don't really look like one of them. Just pass them through then. Shame it had to be now. Not so long ago, we just sat down and had a drink with the rest of the lads. Now I come here alone. I don't know. But you could put something on the table, and then maybe we can talk. Thank you. That's better. We used to come here, the three of us. Me, Berg, and Finley. But lately, something's gotten into Berg, and it all kinda fell apart. Hell knows what happened. One day he just stopped talking to us. We went to his house to get him, but he only cursed a blue streak at us. Say, mate, do you feel like talking to an old obla? I feel bad for him, but I've got no more patience. And Finley? Let's just say Finley's no good at this stuff. Now you're talking. Ever since he got so maudlin, Berg usually sits alone by the sea. Let me know what's wrong with him. Orderly. No damn rabble begging at the gates and eating us at a house and home. Back then, sure, civilians came and went. But housing them, feeding them? We had a rule. No freeloading. But I guess that went out the window, along with our pride. It used to mean something to be a keeper. You could come in off the streets and keepers would make a man out of you. Now, bunch of spoiled lordlings sold off to Brandon by their daddies for a bag of gold. Treated like they're made of glass. Soft, weak, the lot of them. What's there to be proud of? You watch your damn mouth. We did everything we could. I've said it before. We need a whole damn army to keep this region in check. And besides, how do you know these leeches are even telling the truth? Every village wiped out. Just like that? Give me a break. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You see anything interesting around here? There's this tavern, and plenty of fish in the sea. Decent place to retire, but not much else. Well, if you're looking to sightsee, try the sunken village. Just don't let the locals tear you to shreds. You asking me? They came here and made themselves at home. I ain't talking to any of them. That all?
Excuse me, could you get me a clean glass? And I mean clean, not just wiped 3 times with a dirty rag. My name is Alyssa Murray, and I'm here with my husband, a very important cloth merchant. But surely you must have heard about our family. Not to brag, but we are rather prominent. I am famed amongst Camelot's courtiers for throwing the most magnificent feasts. Thank you. I designed it myself. I wanted to blend in with the people of the South. The savage tribes, the brave lightkeepers. I wanted to make an homage to them with my new style, and I do believe I've succeeded. I can feel everyone here gazing at me with awe. Give it a few weeks and everyone here will be trying to copy me. It happens in Camelot all the time. It's almost insufferable. Well, my Duncan is here on business, of course. A very important contract with the Lightkeepers. I decided to accompany him because I have never been to the South, and I've heard so much about its wild, untamed beauty. So far, it's turned out to be terribly dull. And the smell! It's like stale fish and sweat. Hopefully I don't have to suffer it much longer. Pray, tell me, do you know anyone here who would run a small errand for me? Oh, nothing major. You see, I've had my eye on this beautiful abandoned estate overlooking the sea. It's not very far from here, but it's far enough away from all this rabble. If we stay here for a while, I need a place for myself. You understand that, right? No offense, but I can't keep living in a filthy room at an inn. When I asked the innkeeper to draw me a bath, he brought me a bucket. A bucket! Can you imagine? Fine. The problem is that the manor appears to have some occupants, not legal ones, mind you, who need to be evicted. Forcibly, if there's no other way. You'll do it for me, won't you, dear? Splendid! I can't wait to start decorating. Maybe something nautical, to go with the sound of the waves crashing on the cliffs? Or do you think that's a trifle trite? I have to admit that the fish here is quite good, albeit simple. I will have to bring my cook to the estate.
Hello, child. You look competent enough. I can see that you're not of noble blood. Oh, no need to tell me that. I've tutored the children of aristocrats from all over Avalon. Fortunately for you, my opinion of them is not particularly high. Oh, and you don't look like one of the locals. Are you a visitor? Or an adventurer? You can talk. Now, I'm sure we'll get along. My name is Lady Elaine. I oversee the Farshire Library, the greatest collection of books in this part of Avalon. By the All-Mother, don't tell me you don't know what Farshire is. The largest duchy in the middle of the island, with the wise Lady Kincaid in power, who has a hold over the entire territory. Nothing? Oh, really? Farshire is one of the first duchies on Avalon. It is a beautiful land with lush fields, forests rich in game, and most importantly, the Wordstone mines in the west, the primary source of our wealth. Well, at least that's how I remember it. Now it's a mere shadow of its former glory. Oh, it's a rare and coveted material, necessary to create the sturdiest steel in the world. As you can imagine, dear, it used to be Farshire's greatest treasure, until the primordial fog took our minds. I know, child. I know. Everyone was surprised. Camelot turned up their noses at this for years. But after Lord Kincaid died, and Aidan, Lady Kincaid's son, disappeared, the nobles of Farshire decided she could stay on the throne. Even if Aidan had been alive, she would still be ruling as a regent until he came of age. But between you and me, he wasn't a very bright boy. So she would have been ruling until her death anyway. Oh, we're lucky to have her. Difficult times require determined leaders. Worse than ever. Oh, the wordness is thickening, and the roads are getting dangerous and unpredictable. That's why I'm here, wandering Avalon looking for solutions. If I don't do this, who will, You're probably wondering what a feeble old lady who can't even lift a sword could possibly accomplish. But King Arthur didn't conquer Avalon just because he couldn't swing a blade. No, he had knowledge, and enough wisdom to know how to use it. Lady Kincaid wasn't happy when she found out about this idea, but all Mother's mercy, I am her tutor. She cannot dictate what I do, no matter her standing. Oh, do you mean a family? Oh, I've never had time for such trifles. No suitor was ever more interesting than a good book, nor did any of them smell better either. And I've raised enough of other people's children to never wish for my own. Oh, surprising. I'm looking for someone who will help me find a certain artifact. So, are you interested, child? I came to the Horns of the South because I found a fascinating book. It referred to a certain object, a figure most likely, which has the ability to dispel the wordness like a menhir can. Apparently, it can be found on the ship called Andraste, which sank over 100 years ago somewhere in this area. However, when I asked those nincompoops about it, they just laughed at me. They said that the Andraste wasn't carrying anything of value, and even if it was, they wouldn't freeze their butts off in those chilly waters. The Last Voyage of the Andraste by Elvis the Lightkeeper. He was one of the more notable keepers. In his waning years, he became an adjutant to Captain Lex. But it's best if you read it yourself. You can read, can't you? But just be very careful. This is a very rare publication. Read it very carefully, and after you're done, come to me, and I'll tell you more. A deal? Summarize? Oh, my dear child. Oh, do you really think you'd be handed everything on a silver platter? You're not as vain and conceited as certain ladies from House Macaulay, are you? You should be grateful you can learn history from eyewitness accounts. No, I'm not going to summarize The Last Voyage of Andraste for you, and don't ask me again, unless you want to make me very angry. And they say young people don't want to learn anything. Come on, chop, 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 get to reading. And? Have you read The Last Voyage of the Andraste? Then what are you waiting for, child? And? Have you read The Last Voyage of the Andraste? Oh, splendid, splendid. Oh, it's an excellent book, don't you think? Now, let's test your reading comprehension. According to Elvis the Lightkeeper, in the mine near the Horns of the South, they found something that they took with them on the ship. Do you remember what that was, child? And you're telling me you've read it? By the All-Mother, it's like dealing with a 10-year-old. You need to read this book a little more carefully, child. Come back when you've done more than just skimmed it. Have you read the book carefully this time? Good. Well, let's try again then. According to Elvis the Lightkeeper, in the mine near the Horns of the South, they found something that they took with them on the ship. Do you remember what that was, child? That's right. This is the artifact I'm looking for. One that might be vital to repelling the wordness. According to Elvis's description, the figure is smaller than a menhir, and light enough that they were able to carry it to the ship without any trouble. Were it small, it would probably have been placed in Captain Lex's quarters instead of in the hold. I've estimated it should be about 1 meter tall. Good. Next question. What was the Andraste's destination? Correct. Be very careful with what I'm about to tell you. But some believe that the Red Priests are dedicated to studying the wordness instead of the Red Death. Captain Lex must have thought they'd pay him generously for a four-dweller artifact. Last question. What sank the Andraste? Yes, you did well, child. I can see that you were paying attention. According to Elvis, the Andraste was sunk by the legendary terror from the deep. But if you want to know more, ask your keeper friends. They should be much better informed. Now, all you need to do is find the wreck of the Andraste and retrieve the mysterious figure. Oh, if only I knew. It must have happened somewhere on the way between the Horns of the South and the Island Asylum. Oh, but where exactly? Fortunately, I know something that could help us. In the Horns of the South Museum, there are some extremely interesting books and documents lying around and collecting dust. Can you imagine having such treasures at hand and choosing to completely ignore them? Oh, barbarians. Among them, you'll find the Andraste's logbook, which was saved by Elvis. I've read it, of course, but I know nothing about sailing. I'm sure such a competent child as yourself will handle it much better. Go to the Horns of the South Museum, read the logbook, and then tell me whether you managed to locate the wreck of the Andraste.
You seen all the refugees coming from the nearby villages? They're trying to get away from the bandits and the weirdness.
Aye, I've seen 'em. Can't blame 'em for wanting some safety. With bandits and the weirdness creeping closer, who wouldn't be scared?
There may be, but I don't trust strangers. They could be bringing trouble with them. Never know what kind of folk you're letting in.
You're always suspicious. They're just trying to survive, same as the rest of us. Besides, where else would they go?
Speaking of the refugees, you hear about that one Cole? Looks like he's ill or something.
Aye, I heard. Poor lad's in rough shape, but thank the All-Mother it's not the Red Death. We couldn't deal with that here.
Still don't sit right with me. Sick folks in a crowded place? It's a risk case.
Maybe, but what are we gonna do? Turn them away? We've all got our burdens to carry. If it's not urgent, I suggest you walk away. Now.
You seen all the refugees coming from the nearby villages? I'm not in the mood for interruptions. I'll find your own table. You seen all the refugees coming from the nearby villages? Oi, you're not from around here, are you? Come on, sit down and tell me something about the world out there. Don't know. If I knew what to ask, I'd have asked it already. Now that I believe. Everywhere's a mess, even here. I remember when we were held in the same regard as Camelot. Look at us now. They're taken in wimps. It's nothing like the old days. Filth everywhere, and it reeks of fish. Everyone's terrified of the weirdness. It's hard to believe I've lived long enough to see times like these. Not that long ago, we used to scare kids with stories about the weirdness. But now, grown men wet themselves if we tell the same tales. Honestly, I'm done with it all. I don't even recognize this world anymore. And I don't want to. You bet they were. It's all been falling apart ever since they put Captain Brendan in charge. That one's got two coins where his eyes should be, if you ask me. Doesn't care about anyone or anything. He's just looking out for his own skin. Worst captain I ever served under, no doubt. Not that I serve anymore, I'm retired now. Don't even get me started. Fergus always claims he's busy, but for the life of me, I can't figure out what he actually does. Probably just pretends to work. I talk to Riderick from the museum sometimes, but that one's a real know-it-all. We always end up arguing about how things used to be. If you ask me, they're all just as bad as each other. It's never gonna be the same again. My brothers are gone, and I'm left here, all alone. We had a beautiful tradition. Choosing new keepers was done differently back then. You had to lie down and sleep in a special spot, but that's all I'm gonna say. It's a secret, and it looks like it'll die with me. Of course I do. In my day, it wasn't sunken. It was a beautiful, lively place. Pilgrims would visit the All-Mother's Temple and Excalibur, and end up in the village. It broke my heart when I heard about the flooding. They say the Druids caused it, but who really knows? It doesn't matter now, who did or didn't do what. It's over, that's all. Now go on, leave me, like everyone else has. There's nobody left with any sense to talk to. Lady Elaine's nice enough. But an old keeper like me doesn't stand a chance with her.
Oi, Noel! What if I pulled Excalibur from that stone, but it broke, but only at the tip? Would I still get to be king, or not?
You're so daft, Randall. Some magical lass living in a lake gave the king the sword when he broke his own bashing four-armed skulls.
So, the one in the stone, what's that called? It's not Excalibur, is it?
Nah, the one in the stone was called, don't know. Sword in the stone, I guess.
Sod it. Whatever. So, if I pulled the sword in the stone from the, stone, and it broke, but only a little, would I still get to be king?
What? No. You'd have to pull out all of it. Only the one who pulls out the sword gets to be king, yeah? Not the one who pulls out a bit of the sword.
Wait, but if you have a sword and it breaks, do you tell everyone that you have a sword or that you have a piece of the sword? Besides, you can always take it to the smith and he can fix a new tip.
But if he fixes a new tip, it won't be the same sword.
Are you off your knocker? How's it not the same sword? So, What is it now? A plowshare?
A shit share.
Listen, just listen to me. You've got it all wrong. You've got a sword, right? And then the tip breaks off, so you attach a new one, right? But then, let's just say it breaks again.
That's one shitty sword you have there.
Now, listen to me. Now, damn it. It breaks off, so you fix it with a new piece again. And then it happens again, and again, and again. Until you finally get yourself a whole new blade from the smith. So get this, if the whole blade was replaced, is it still the same sword?
Well, no, it isn't.
There you have it. You just need to be, what's the word? Rational.
Fine, fine. Now let's have a drink. My throat's drier than a priestess purse.
See, now you sound rational.
What? How dare you? Do you know the meaning of those flowers in that configuration? Revenge. Revenge, deception, and death. There's nothing nice about it, and I don't know if he did it on purpose or if he's just an idiot. But trust me, it's not a nice gesture. I don't care about his motivation. What you have in your hand is a very bad omen. Take those flowers away, Burn them, throw them in a cauldron, whatever. I don't want to look at them. Be careful out there.
Buy something or bugger off. Unless you've already bought from Orla. Then just bugger off. Pursue potential customers. Listen here, pal. Clearly you don't understand how trading works in a place like this. I've no idea where you come from, but here, it's the potential customer who needs to pursue the vendor. And that vendor decides to sell to them or not. It's the vendor who makes the decision, not the other way around. How many people here do you think are offering to exchange goods for coins? I'll tell you, not bloody many. Yeah, Orla, a woman merchant from the Keep. Go on, try giving her your money. I bet she'll just shortchange you and call it a day. She has no wit and no finesse when it comes to trading. I wouldn't mind knowing that myself. She stole a lucrative business contract out from under me and my family, then made herself at home here. Damn those Timberwall merchants. Everyone's always yammering about Timberwall. Timber this, timber that. Bugger them all. Remember, good business, only with Quanacht. Fair prices, no bullshit. I just told you, a business contract. It's an agreement. Two sides. One sells, the other pays. Sometimes you can also exchange material goods. A barter transaction. But anyway, it fell through. The captain'd rather deal with that woman. Good riddance to him. Well, it's all water under the bridge now. Yes, Quanacht. From a merchant family, to be specific. Though I've always wanted to join the Royal Geographers. To chart the uncharted. But I broke my leg. Badly enough that I couldn't travel anymore. After the accident, I was stuck at home, sitting on my ass and looking after the books. It was driving me crazy. Not what I wanted from life. When that contract I told you about fell through, I stayed here for a bit. Lost track of time. My brother got worried, so he came looking for me. I told him I'm not going back empty-handed. So he said we might as well do business here then. He helped me set up the shop, and left for home. You've never heard of them? They're a guild of explorers, dating back to the Age of Legends. They travel across Avalon, documenting all the lost and forgotten places, crawling through hidden caves, discovering old ruins. That's what LSA and I dreamed of. Though, only one of us got to live it. Well, a friend from back home. It was a long time ago. We were both snot-nosed kids who didn't know any better. We'd run around Connacht, drawing maps of every corner we could find. And on the farms, LSA insisted on marking every stone in the fields. My mother used to get on my ass for wasting so much paper and charcoal. Good times. She got in with the geographers, started running errands for them. Well, it was right after my accident. I might have, acted a bit rashly. Said some things I shouldn't have. You know how it goes. We stopped talking, and then she left Connacht. Haven't seen her since. First thing I did when I arrived was ask the locals what this village is called. And they just said, wait for it,
The village. There's also a sunken village nearby. So I asked them what that one was called, and they said, the Sunken Village. So I asked what it was called before it was flooded, and they told me, the village. How do you even work with that? Long enough to know what sells. Not that I'd mind having a wider selection of goods, you know. Some more options on offer. But people here don't need much, so what you see is all I have. Then there's the refugees. For now, I guess they're good business. But long term, doubt it. Sooner or later they'll run out of money. They don't have any way to earn it since no one wants them here. They'll get kicked out, or they'll just leave and not come back. But there'll be others around to keep the businesses running, more or less.
What do you want? Who are you? Ha! Guess he's got nobody else to get pissed with. Finley never liked drinking alone with him. Titan tends to get into one of his moods. And? What? That's all? You're bothering me just because that old rascal is sitting alone in the inn with nobody to natter to. You people, bugger off.
Sometimes I think they're still waiting for me down there.
Morris. I hope he's surviving out there. Do you need help settling in, dear? This isn't the best day to start a new life in this place, but we don't always get to choose, do we? What a nasty business with that boy. I'm almost glad my Morris isn't here for this. He's such a bleeding heart. Oh, I'm not sure, love. I don't move around too much. I just heard about that fight with the road keeper, and now poor Cole's locked up in a cage. Him and Patrice make such a lovely young couple. They remind me of Morris and me when we were their age. I'm sorry, dear. I hope I didn't offend you. I'm still not used to all this. You see, I was born in Little Grove and thought I would live out the rest of my life there, working in the orchards in the mornings and drinking warm cider with my beloved in the evenings. We never wanted to see the world. I guess sometimes the world doesn't give us a choice, does it? Little Grove was raided by bandits, a local gang that had been terrorizing the area for months, growing in numbers with each raid. Their leader, Bald Kate they called her, somehow got hold of a branding iron used to mark outlaws. After pillaging a village, she'd brand some men and women of her choosing. That way, Kate made sure nobody would ever help them, and that they'd have no choice but to turn to her if they wanted to survive. My Morris used to be a skilled tanner. I guess that's why she picked him. It is, isn't it? Kate is nothing if not resourceful. It's a shame she doesn't put that talent into helping people instead of hurting them. I don't know. The keeper at the gate turned Morris away because of the brand on his face. I would have left with him, but I was sick and exhausted from the journey, so I promised to join him when I got better. Except now, I've no idea where to find him. No, he only promised that he'd find somewhere safe, but I'm not sure if there is any such place left in the south. Oh, Mother bless you, my dear. That's all I could ask for. Please, let me know as soon as you learn anything. At first, it wasn't so bad, but now it gets worse every day. We just sit around here, doing nothing. Don't get me wrong, we have food, we have a roof over our heads, and we're grateful for that. But no one trusts us enough to let us do any work. None of us wants to be a freeloader, as they call us. I wouldn't mind a task or two to earn my keep and to take my mind off my troubles. I might not be all hale and hearty, but I've still got two good hands, which is more than you can say about some of the codgers living here. A dream? Oh, yes. There was one, but I don't quite remember what it was about. I'm sorry, dear. Stay safe, dear.
What's left for someone like me? You need something?
I've already told you I'm not going anywhere. If you want something from me, then... Oh. I don't know you. I'm Dugald. You're not one of us. And you're not a local either.
You could have chosen a better time to come here. Kind of poor ambience, if you know what I mean.
Well, at least we have a roof over our heads.
What? Ah, Yes. The people are making a fuss over nothing. A dream is just a dream. No need to dwell on it.
My boy Frank and I came here with the others. We left our village because we had to. Well, I had to. But Frank is a good lad, so he came with me. I took him in, you know?
Found the poor sod at the mill, sleeping in the hay. He was chilled to the bone back then, but I could tell he'd be a strong lad once he thawed out. He used to help out on the farm.
He's young, but he already has a couple of tattoos. Tribal ones. Means he must have been cast out of the Del Rita.
At first, the people in our village gave him dirty looks. But then they realized he wasn't a bandit.
He was a good, hard-working kid. Then they started to treat him as one of their own. Frank is a quiet boy, and he doesn't talk much about himself. I feel like those days with the reader are long buried for him. Almost like he never lived them. Roscree. Few shacks and a small field of grain. I was a miller back there. My daughter married a good, hard-working man. Eventually, I gave them the mill.
Still helped around, but wanted to let the young folks learn how to work there. Then this kid, Frank, came along. Everything seemed to be going pretty well.
Of course, something happened. Life here can't just be bearable. Oh no. Everything has to get screwed up somehow. That's the way it goes in this cursed land. My dear Trina and her bairn. They got caught by a weird beast. I started to hit the bottle, and finally, my son-in-law kicked me out. I left Roscree, and so did Fran. He says he has some kind of life debt, and he won't leave me alone until one of us drops dead. I'm sorry too. To be honest, I'm a bit confused about what's going on. Usually it was me who yelled at everyone, and now I feel like a drudge. And this nasty thing with Col. Poor lad. Shouldn't have ended like that. He and Beatrice got along very well. Let me tell you something. When I saw all these wrinklies around here, I thought this place would suit me. But then all this shit happened. I suspect we won't stay here long.
You've come to put me in the cage. Sorry. Just a bit of grim humor. You know, about what's been happening here. Such a mess, isn't it? Cola's all right, and Beatrice, what a shame. Such a fine girl. Anyway, I'm Ellis. Nice to meet you. What do you need?
Aye, there was a dream. Strangest bloody thing out of all the strange shite I've seen. When we woke up, we realised that every one of us had a weird night. I was out in the wild. I had this feeling like something was chasing me. But it was Col who really had it rough. Poor sod was moping around afterwards like he'd been hit by a sack of bricks. Yes and no, to be honest. See, Col has always been quick to anger, especially when things went sour. And back then, an awful lot of things were going to shite. But this time, I don't know. It felt different. He didn't even bother chatting with Beatrice. Normally, they're a good couple. A real match, if you ask me. No, he didn't talk to me or anyone else in the group. Guess he didn't want us to worry. Especially his lass. Right. I admitted to them that I'd fallen asleep. My eyelids felt like they weighed a ton.
And before I knew it, I was out. Maybe it's stupid, but I had this strange feeling, like something was inviting me into that dream of me. Don't ask me why. Feels mad just talking about it now, but, well, we were all dead tired, so it's probably just that. Well, I'm Ellis. Goldsmithing is my life and passion, and between you and me, I feel like I'm losing my mind without it. When I hold tools and make beautiful things, it feels like I can bring some light into this wretched world. I wish I was somewhere where I could just do some goldsmithing, but I'm a bit scared. So, here I am, sitting on my ass in some village listening to waves and the screams of seagulls and old men. Nothing to write home about, even if I still had one. I was working as a goldsmith in a group of, let's call them business people. I was once traveling with a caravan that got attacked by him. Their chief was a smart guy. The moment he heard I was a goldsmith, he knew what to do with me. He got me converting all the jewelry they stole into new pieces. Do you want to hear what I did once? We went to Timberwall. The gang wanted to rob some merchant's house. We holed up in a seedy tavern and waited for the right moment. Then, one night they broke in. Came back with a whole load of trinkets. Beautiful stuff. The moment I saw it all, I instantly knew what I wanted to craft. They gave me a couple of days. I tinkered for a bit, and then, ta-da! Brand new merchandise. After I was finished, I dressed myself all nice, went to that merchant's house and went, "Good morning, kind sir. I'm a goldsmith. My work is renowned in all of Camelot. Would you be interested in what I have to offer?" You know what he said? Of course I would. That nonce bought the entire lot, even though I inflated the prices like a street peddler. And when I came back, the others couldn't believe their eyes. I thought I was gonna keel over. I miss that.
They said it would get easier.
Something happened. Frang listens. Frang doesn't know dream. Frang calls them visions. And yes, Frang had one not long ago. Alone, surrounded by wolves. They were no aggressive, so Frang felt no fear. It was they who feared Frang. Then, I caught the scent of blood and followed it. But I didn't reach the end. The vision stopped. Now, Frang waits for the next one, to see what's ahead. I'm not from anywhere. Frang is attached to nowhere. I found a home with Dugald. I owe him a life debt. Frang was never a dull reader. Not without a name. Without a name, you are nobody in the tribe. Like me. And if that lasts too long, you must leave. I left and became Frang. Frang. A name, and not a name. Nothing happened to Frang. A stray, taken in by a miller. That's all. Frang cannot be a Dalriada. His mother was. But the tribe decided that he was not worthy of a name. That is why he is not of the tribes. Conquer. Wolf. Strong. Important name. Not seen in the south for a long time. Must be dead. A place without a leader. As I see it, it will finally fall apart. One way or another. There are no tales about a place that survived without a strong leadership. And it's not about kings nobleshites, or chieftains. Titles are just words that pull the wool over a man's eyes. What's needed is a strong soul with a strong name. And their names mean as much as Frang's, which is to say, nothing. Now they're a bit like Frang. Strays with no home. But Reese is strong, despite what happened with Cole. Ellis? He's funny. I like him. Rawson? I know nothing about her. And Dugald? A man who became Frank's father. He has my gratitude. Don't bother. Frank never met the Keepers, but the unnamed boy did. Once, a few of them, many years ago, we fought. The unnamed boy survived even though he showed fear. Shouldn't do that. The Keepers approached the camp of the boy's people, but that past does not belong to Frang. I'm Frang.
Still here, still breathing. Nothing changes. Nothing ever will. Didn't think anyone would stop by. Said it would get easier. You need something?
Ah, that's you. Do you need something? Ah, yes, that old house. That place has been empty for years. The story goes, the last owner, Keeper Galen, threw himself into the sea one stormy night. Some folks whisper of curses or restless spirits, but I say it's just talk. The captain put it up for sale ages ago, but no one's had the guts or sense, if you ask me, to take it. If you're thinking of buying it, go for it. Make it your home. Every house deserves someone to fill it with life again. No, not really, fortunately.
It's no secret. He's just an old, bitter man who hates the entire world. And I'm a part of it, so, well, it is what it is. That's all. He told that tale about the tunnels more times than I can count. To anyone who'll listen. But these days, it seems nobody does anymore. I've heard it plenty of times already, believe me. To him, those old friends of his were everything. They meant more than his own son, that's for sure. He'd go on and on about it. If I'd been there, if I'd gone with them, he won't let it go. Sometimes I think that if Fergus had let him go into those tunnels and meet the same end as his brothers, he might have found his peace. Or at least quit drinking. See you around.
You're back! Hi! I told you, Ron is a good guy. And here's a little something for you. You know I pay well. Yes? What's the matter, my friend? You're really good at this today. Wait. Oh. Oh, you're serious. I understand. For so many years, I've been afraid to open this letter. But it looks like I needed to read it. Well, it is what it is, right? And I've been wondering why no one wants to talk to me. I thought to myself, are they mad at me or what? But why are you talking to me? How can you see me? Anyway, may the All-Mother bless your path. See you next time.
What do you need? This is a prison, not a museum. We don't admire here. We punish. At least, that's what they tell me to say. I'm supposed to be intimidating. Grrr. So the prisoners are scared of me. Usually, it's nothing but interesting folks. I'm telling you, in these crazy times, every one of them comes in with some wild tale. But right now, quiet as can be. Good thing I've got my books. All my adventures are in there these days. Because I am. I asked for this post. Just to get some peace, quiet, and warmth. No useless small talk. No shrieking seagulls. And none of that cursed biting wind. I'm telling you, it's heaven. And I get to read my books, too. So if you've got anything interesting, I'd be glad to trade. Hello. Anything I can not help you with? Safe travels.
Who are you? What do you want? I don't recognize your face. I am. They told me it's for my safety, and the safety of others. I don't like it. The keep is supposed to be my home, and yet here I am, locked in a damn jail. What? Yes, to be honest. I feel like I'm constantly living in a nightmare. I dream about something hidden deep, like it's between this world and another. That cursed madman from the refugee group bit me. I think his name is Cole. The boys told me he's locked up in a cage now. Good. That's the proper place for animals like him. By the All-Mother, if I'd known he was carrying some foul disease, I wouldn't have gone near them. He's just mad. I told the others the group of refugees would bring no good here. And as you can see, I wasn't wrong. Cursed bastards. Damned if I know. Whenever I've had a fever or cold before, I could always explain it. But this, I can't find the words. Sometimes it feels like I'm fading away. Like the part of me that makes me who I am is disappearing. I don't know how to describe it. And there's a voice at times. It calls to me. Each night it draws nearer. Like a dreadful howl. Not at all human, that's for sure. At times, I hear our words within it. But more often, it's like a noise from deep within the bowels of the earth. Like something very wicked. The medic and that red priest both came to see me. Both shrugged, offering no cure. Heber says I should wait. But if you've got anything stronger to drink, I wouldn't say no. It might ease the pain, even just for a little. Thanks. That's really nice of you. Hold fast, and steer clear of those strangers.
Hello. Anything I can not help you with? Safe travels.
Yes. Still tastes like shit. Exactly how my mother would make it. It's just what I needed. Oh, don't get me wrong. I really appreciate what you did for me. It's just that every time I doubt my service in the Horns of the South, I need a reminder of why I enlisted. My mother wasn't much of anything, to tell the truth. She always said I was good for nothing and that I should be glad she even kept me. And every day she'd bring back home a new uncle. Many of those uncles like to kick me out of my own house when they were drinking and getting busy. Then, when she'd sober up and got rid of an uncle, she'd bake me that pie as an apology. It always tasted like shit. If the other villagers hadn't been feeding me, I would have starved to death. Hence the pie. I wouldn't know. When I left my village, I decided to never look back. So I just assumed one of those uncles finally beat her to death.
You're the reason they put me here. You just wait until they let me out. I'll beat you so hard your own mother won't recognize you. Come a little closer, so I can at least spit in your face. Nobody asked your opinion. I drink 'cause I want to. I drink 'cause guarding that empty gate is the most boring shit in the world. What's it to you, anyway, huh? Maybe I was drunk, but the gate was guarded. It's not your damn pin, I wouldn't even let you in. But all is not lost. We can still be friends. Listen, just pour something delicious down my throat, huh? And I'll forget this insult. I'm not guarding the gate right this second, am I? There's nothing wrong with having a little sip, right? Come on, don't be like that. Just a drop. That's all I ask. Aye, that's for me to decide. If you don't even want to help me with such a tiny thing, then get out of my sight. Me a throat parched to the bone, you grateful bastard.
Sweet All-Mother, is he still whining about that contract? I want it fair and square. My offer was simply better, and Heffen's crap at negotiating. Besides, if you ask me, it's all just posturing. He might have lost the contract for his family, but for him, it was a clear win. Trading with the Keep in an official capacity. It means I don't just run this stand, I also handle orders from the captain and the quartermaster. It's a good deal, I won't lie, but it requires a lot of running around. I don't have time to twiddle my thumbs and make nice with the locals like Heffen does. Look, Heffen may seem dim, but he's a sly bastard. I'm not saying he lost on purpose, because I doubt that. But he didn't have to slink back to Connacht with his tail between his legs. He's got his little stall in the village, and he lords over it like a bloody king. Grouch that he is, he fits right in with the rest of those old codgers. Plus, he got his family off his back. All in all, I'd say he's doing quite well for himself.
Captain Hagen. Well, he was a man driven by pride and a certain disregard for caution. He sent men to explore those old tunnels beneath the keep. Somehow, he got it into his head that there was something valuable down in those tunnels. Treasures, relics, who knows what else. But the truth is, we know what was there. In the Age of Legends, it was just a hospital. There was some kind of outbreak or plague, and the place was sealed off. Nothing left to find, or so the records say. Yes, it weighs on me more than I'd care to admit. If I could, I'd see them laid to rest. But no captains ever bothered. It seems they thought it was a fool's errand. Maybe not worth the risk. If you're mad enough to try, then by all means go ahead. Just don't expect any keeper to follow you. I really don't have men to spare. But maybe it's time to make it right. So, thank you, I suppose. I knew we'd have to deal with this sooner or later. Time isn't exactly on our side. Mahone's condition worsens with each passing night. It's hard for me to admit, but nobody, including myself, really knows what's going on. Maybe a fresh perspective is exactly what we need. If you find any clues, follow them. I'm only interested in the details, and ideally, the solutions. There are a few retired keepers living there. They might tell you about the good old days if you ask them nicely. There are also some refugees from north of the island, since we had nowhere else to put them. I don't really know much about what's going on in that place. I just make sure they have everything they need, more or less. You can always go see for yourself. People fleeing from bandits, from the weirdness, you name it. I wasn't exaggerating when I said we were the last beacon of hope this far south. For these people, we are. Don't know how many more we can take, but that's a problem for another time. Yes? Did you find out what's been happening out there? Why not? Don't tell me you're afraid of ghosts. Just don't annoy them and you'll be fine.
This feeling, it was so strong, so real. I remember now, the weight of it, the power. This blade was never just steel. It was a part of me. Yes, the sensation is unmistakable. But it carries more than my soul. It carries a part of my legacy. A sword like that, it doesn't yield easily. It demands strength of body and of will. You'll need to grow stronger before it will choose you. This feeling, I remember this. Yeah, but it... you...
Welcome to the Museum of the Horns of the South, the southernmost keep under Camelot's jurisdiction. My name is Ridderick, and I will be happy to introduce you to the rich history of this fascinating place. A history that began 623 years ago, with the first keeper, Sewell Firstfoot. I'd also like to bring your attention to our numerous exhibits that are, as I like to say, inanimate witnesses of the history of the Horns of the South. Do you mean the document with information about the course, weather, position, and speed of the ship, as well as all of the stops and other occurrences kept by the captain or the first mate? More specifically, the document from the bridge of the Andraste, which sank tragically in nearby waters in the year 513. Indeed, we have it. Please wait here. Here it is, though I doubt those records will tell you anything, since the weirdness surrounding Avalon made sailing impossible. The knowledge of the precepts of navigation has been forgotten. Oh, no, we know that. You should have mentioned that you're looking for the wreck of the Andraste rather than the logbook. Every keeper knows that the Andraste was swallowed by the ocean. It's near what's currently known as Smuggler's Bay. Here, I'll mark it on your map. I have to admit that local fauna is not one of my main areas of interest, but I do know the answer to this question, as it is rooted in the history of the Horns of the South. It used to be the case that a significant part of the daily catch was gobbled up by our troublesome coastal neighbors. So the keepers of that time found a very peculiar way to deal with the problem. Some of them, called the Seagullers, scared off the coastal birds using specially constructed masks. They made them from feathers and pieces of tanned pigskin sewn together. The reason the gulls avoided these masks is unclear, but perhaps their peculiar shape reminded them of a natural predator? The museum holds a collection of 72 items of the so-called movable, tangible heritage. The collection includes big and small items that represent the world surrounding the keepers of the Horns of the South, from the 1st to the 6th century of the Avalonian era. Here you will find militaria, craft tools, everyday objects, furniture, textiles, coins, religious artifacts. I'd say all exhibits are worthy of your attention, but I could point you to the ones I personally think to be the most notable, or subjectively, of course, the most interesting. Those would be the items that used to belong to Sewell Firstfoot. We have his signal horn, and also his boots. Those boots were the first to touch Avalonian soil. What is also worth mentioning is the tableware used by King Arthur himself during his visit to the Horns of the South in the 15th year of the Avalonian era. No, we don't, and I'd ask for a modicum of respect for the legacy of the first keeper, and for our museum. Sewell's boots were sewn from 3 pieces of tanned calfskin, tied at the top with a leather strap. The seam goes through the middle of the instep, which is decorated with ornamental embroidery. On the outer side of each shoe, you can find a decorative brass buckle with the motif of the Camelotian bear. It is notable that even after 600 years, they are still excellently preserved, which is unusual considering the high humidity in this area. It means that even the keepers of that time must have realized the historical value of Sewell's boots, and therefore made sure to adequately preserve them. It is indeed an interesting exhibit. The horn was used by Sewell during wartime, not only for signaling, but also for intimidation. It is 50 centimeters long and made of the horn of an ox. It is the color of yellowed bone, with some ash-gray discoloration on the narrow end. It has a brass mouthpiece and silver fittings on its wider side and at the middle. The shape of the fittings suggests that the horn was hanging on a leather strap, which unfortunately has not survived to this day. It's a memento of the visit of the legendary ruler of Avalon. Impressive, isn't it? The tableware is made of tin coated with silver. It consists of a plate, a bowl, and a chalice. The edges are decorated with the motifs of Camelot, a crown and a bear. However, those ornaments are of visibly low quality. That detail, and the fact that those are the only wares from that time that have survived to this day, leads us to conclude that this set was cast specifically for that occasion. and that it was finished by a person unfamiliar with this kind of craft. Perhaps a blacksmith or an armorer. It began in the year 542. It is the crowning achievement of a group of keepers who were fascinated with Sewell Firstfoot. It took them years of tremendous effort to finally open an institution devoted to research and education, worthy of commemorating Sewell's great legacy. The first keeper of the museum was Gladwin Flanagan, who was personally appointed by Captain Berach the Black. I don't doubt it, since Sewell Firstfoot was a remarkable figure, well known to every keeper. Drawing on available sources, we can claim with almost absolute certainty that Sewell Firstfoot was the first man who ever set foot on the island of Avalon. As you can probably guess, that's where his moniker, Firstfoot, comes from. Oh, of course. Sewell was an outstanding commander whose strategic mind, bravery, and charisma contributed to our capture of the South from the Four Dwellers. He was also the founder of the Horns of the South, so I can say with absolute conviction that if it were not for Sewell Firstfoot, we wouldn't even be standing here having this conversation. Really? Do you mean it? Thank you. That's really nice to hear. I'm not used to positive feedback. Usually people only come here when they've had too much to drink and decided that it'd be fun to come over and start mocking me, or touching the exhibits with their greasy fingers. The last person who seemed to actually be interested in the museum was Lady Elaine. We talked a bit about Captain Lex and the trip that ended tragically in the year 513. It was described in The Last Voyage of the Andraste. An interesting read, although I'd say it should be classified as fiction. Lady Elaine thought differently. Apparently she's looking for the wreck of the Andraste. Can you believe that? Oh, that's excellent. I have a lot of respect for that kind of archaeological endeavor, even when it's based on incorrect assumptions with regard to the subject of the research. But if you happen upon any interesting objects during your search, please don't forget about the museum.
Thank you, friend. Let me repay your kindness. Even though I don't have much, I can at least tell you about something I saw a little while ago. It might be interesting for an adventurer like you. See those rocks near the shore? When it gets dark, sometimes I see a light there. I'm no sure what it could be, though. A bandit camp this close to the Horns? Impossible. The Daliata? No way. They wouldn't hide like that. Maybe something else entirely? It's probably nothing, but maybe you could find something interesting or valuable there. Fair enough. Here, have this potion. It helps me with my pain, so if you suffer as well, it'll help.
I should stay out of trouble. There you are, finally. Do you have what I need? A mask? Eh? Are you sure? Ah, whatever, sod it. Now they'll get what's coming to them, damn rascals. You can go now. You're right. Here, take this. But don't think, even for a moment, that the struggle is over. We need more, much more, to finally rid ourselves of those blasted birds once and for all. Are you ready for the next step in our fight against the flying, shitting enemy? That's the spirit! In a war like this, every ally counts. Look, I've got the perfect seagull trap design right here. You just need to make a few and set them up in some strategic spots, like this one. And those flying pests will surely get caught. We need to work smart. Go on then, and fight against the flying vermin.
It's more than a sword. It's a promise. A blade that stands for unity, for strength, and for hope. It wasn't just mine. It belonged to Avalon. Every swing, every battle was fought for the land and its people. But Excalibur is also a burden. It demands more than just skill. It demands purpose. Without that, then it is just steel.